Are you looking to play your wildcard in Game Week 12? Well, here is the draft for you. I'm going to start off then by looking at the goalkeeper and defenders. I've gone a bit Crystal Palace heavy with this one, but I think it's justified. They're emerging, in my opinion, as one of the best defences in the league. They've got a really nice set of fixtures coming up. So Sam Johnstone is the goalkeeper that I'm going for. Everton and Luton in his next two. He's got a good combination of both clean sheets and saves bonus across this season so far. And I think, to be honest, regardless of price, he is emerging as literally the best goalkeeper in the game at the moment. I know Dean Henderson is obviously Crystal Palace's other goalkeeper, and the two of them by ability are quite similar, but I think Sam Johnstone has well and truly earned his place as their number one, so I wouldn't be too concerned about him losing his place at the moment. Mark Gahey is my first defender. Now, comparatively with Anderson, obviously Anderson has more points than Gahey, but when you look at the underlying numbers in terms of attacking stats, there's not a whole lot to split the two players. So I think Anderson has 2 goals and 1 assist. Gahey hasn't had an attacking return yet, and that's really the difference in their points. I just don't see the reason why you'd pay what is currently an extra 0.4 million for Anderson over Gahey when they're both offering quite similar threat. It's just that Anderson has actually converted his chances so far. Tsimikas, I know he didn't play against Luton, but to be honest, I think Liverpool suffered as a result of that. I think he's going to be back in the team for Brentford, and of course he's got Man City Game Week 13, which, well, 4.5 million you could bench him for, and there's a player on the bench you can quite easily replace him with. Lascelles, I think now is the opportunity to go for him, a 4 million starting Newcastle defender. Bournemouth is his next fixture, then he plays Chelsea and Man United, but based on how they got on against Arsenal, I think you could well foresee a clean sheet in that one as well. So nice and cheap. The most expensive defender is 4.6 million in this team, but I think it will do you nicely. On to the midfield then. Salah, Son, Eze, Mitoma and Saka make up the midfield. There's one player that I would really like to get in, and that's Jared Bowen, but just with the way the team is structured and the money I have in the bank, I just can't quite get to him. So I'm hoping Mitoma can kind of make up for his points. And with the fixtures he's got coming up, I really do think that's likely, to be honest. Salah, he's always got to be in every wildcard draft you make, in my opinion. Game Week 12, he could potentially be the best captain. He plays Man City in Game Week 13, which he still has a decent goal scorer record against. And then he's got Fulham, which is another game where he's likely to score in as well. Heung-min Son, proven to be one of the best players in the league so far this season, playing in the number 9 position for Spurs, who are flying at the top of the league. They haven't played yet in Game Week 11 at the time I'm recording this, but I think he'll get through that game scot-free. He will be a good option. Eze is the midfielder I think is a really good shout on wildcard. Not a lot of people have him, and I don't think many people are going to be able to buy him in Game Week 12 either. So he creates yourself a nice little differential. A player that's a proven Premier League goal scorer, plays 90 minutes every game for Crystal Palace that he's fit for. He's on the pens and free kicks and looks to be a really nice option. In fact, got a little segment about him here. Came off the bench against Burnley. In my opinion, he's going to start the game against Everton. Already spoke about the fact he's on all the pens and free kicks for Crystal Palace. They've also got a really nice fixture run. Everton, Luton, West Ham and Bournemouth as their next 4. It's looking really nice. Yes, he didn't get off to the best start this season, but he did have some really tough fixtures mixed in there, and Elise wasn't in the team either. Elise, he's on a bit of a slower trajectory to getting back to fitness than Eze was, but he's coming back in the team soon. I'd imagine he's in sort of Game Week 13, 14 time. I think Elise being back in the team only serves to boost Eze's chances of getting attacking returns, and I talked about that ownership. It currently sits at 3.1%, which I think makes him a fantastic differential. Just going back to that midfield, Mitoma, the best Brighton attacker in my opinion. He's pretty much the most nailed player in that Brighton team, certainly in their midfield and forward line. Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest is the next couple of fixtures. Really good chance of some attacking returns there. Bukayo Saka hasn't returned now in a few Premier League games. However, I wouldn't let that put me off him. You know, he is a player that is going to reward patience, and to be honest, the upside he's got, it just makes sense to go for him. Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, next 3 fixtures. Absolutely fantastic. He is the designated penalty taker for Arsenal, albeit, you know, might not take the next penalty because he gives them away, but he's always got a chance of getting a penalty. He's their best player, absolutely nailed on the right wing to play 90 minutes. I just think he's a shoe-in for a wildcard draft. Now, I wondered if you could do me a favour. If you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure to leave a like rating, subscribe to the channel as well, set the notification bell so you can see when I upload next. If you're really enjoying the video, please consider joining as a channel member. You'll get early access to all of my videos, and when I deadline stream, I'll give you priority when I rate people's teams in Draft Hound. You can also, if you want to support the channel in a different way, check out my shop down below. You can buy yourself a golden goal sticker or a mug. All right, back to the video. I don't need to talk too much about my forward line. We'll wait and see how Haaland gets on throughout the game week. He was subbed after 45 minutes against Bournemouth with a little niggle, although I do think he's going to be fit to play Chelsea. I think Pep's just going to look after him a little bit, and that's why he was subbed off early. Watkins, he's in my team at 8.2 million at the moment, but I've left plenty in the bank that I think pretty much anyone should be able to afford this team. He currently sits, of course, at 8.4 million. I still think with those fixtures coming up, he's a great price, great value, and a great upside from him as an asset, basically. Doesn't take the penalties for Villa anymore, I know, but Fulham is his next fixture. Tottenham, yes, they're looking really good, but I think Villa, well, bar the game they played at Game Week 11, are looking decent going forward. I wouldn't rule out a chance for goal against Tottenham, to be honest. And then Bournemouth after that, I think he's a really, really nice option. Regardless of the returns he's had in previous game weeks, I think he's looked dangerous in pretty much every game he's played, and that will only continue. This is the team as a whole then. As I mentioned when talking about the strikers, some of these players will be a little bit more expensive for you to buy than they're shown here, and some of them might even be a little bit cheaper. So what I've done is I've left quite a substantial amount in the bank. This is all made with my team value in consideration. Yours might be a bit higher than mine, might be a bit less. I've left plenty in the bank, so this team you're looking at right here should be available to pretty much anyone. If you've got a little bit less cash in the bank, you can skimp down on Eze, potentially going for Anthony Gordon, or Kufal could become someone a little bit cheaper as well. Another thing to mention, I've got Turner on the bench. He is no longer, in my opinion, safe to be starting for Nottingham Forest. You might want to upgrade him to Areola, who is just that little bit more expensive, but he is going to play every game for West Ham. Same story for Kufal, although he is obviously pretty much nailed to start for West Ham. You might want to pick another 4.5 million sort of defender. Given that I've got a Crystal Palace triple up, my personal favourite would be Mitchell. However, I can't pick him because I've already got 3 Crystal Palace players basically. So I've gone for Kufal. You might want to go for someone different. Charlie Taylor, I think he makes sense. 3.9 million, playing every game for Burnley. And Archer at 4.5 million. He's the best striker at his price. Just to summarise, 68.7 points this team will get in Game Week 12 according to Draft Hound. I'd be really happy with that. Alright, and that's the end of the video. Quick little wildcard draft there. That might even be useful if you're not on your wildcard draft anyway, just to see the players I'm looking at targeting. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a like rating, subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be just there, and let me know in the comments what you think of the draft, if there are any players that I haven't picked that you would pick, and any players that I have picked that you wouldn't. I'd be interested to know. Alright, I'll see you in my next video.